Time to really meet the other characters. Hey everyone, welcome to Princess of Gay. I'm your host, Connie, and today we are here with my blind reaction to episode 3 of Tougen Anki. So, I have been hearing on social media that apparently there are some people out there, I don't know like how big this group are, but there are some people who are considering Tougen Anki one of the worst anime of summer 2025. And I'm just like in confused shock because it's like, what? I don't understand. It's good so far. Like, is it fully original or unique or interesting? Like, maybe not. It takes like a lot from other things, sure, but so did Jujutsu Kaisen. Like, honestly, Jujutsu Kaisen is very similar to Bleach, among other things, but especially Bleach. And people didn't have an issue with that. But it's like, I don't understand. It's like, it's entertaining, it's exciting. I like its lore being connected to Momotaro and the Oni and everything. And the characters so far seem like really investing. So I don't see the issue. And again, I don't know how many people are saying this. It's just I saw like a couple things about it, and it's just like, what? How are people like? I don't know. I just don't know. Of course, people also hated on Akame ga Kill, and I thought that series was good. It wasn't like amazing, but it was really good. But people hated on it. So I don't know. Of course, to be fair, on the other side of things, I also hate on some popular series too. Demon Slayer, Code Geass, Attack on Titan. So it's like, I'm not immune to the other side of that argument. And even when I know that I'm in the minority. So I don't know. I don't know why someone would find this bad, but of course it's all subjective opinion. And sometimes my opinions are very different from the norm. And I'm fine with that. I like what I like, I dislike what I dislike. It is just, it's my viewpoint. So it's perfectly valid just as anyone's is. But that being said, last time we got to meet our teacher, who I don't remember his name right now. I've said it before, I'm not always great with names. I have to really get them in. I have to be like really invested to get those locked in sometimes. But also sometimes they do come really easy for me, and I don't know why. It just sometimes they don't. It's always kind of a crapshoot. So it's just how my mind works or doesn't work, however you want to word it. But either way, yeah, we got a brief look at all of these other students, including the blonde girl who was, as I mentioned, the one who got me to check out the series. Having seen like a tiny bit of a clip of her on like TikTok or whatnot. And so that was my main reason for wanting to check this show out. And now we've met her. And presumably we'll get to see a little more of her in action this episode. We also have, there's a pink-haired girl. There's another guy who also can't control his horns at the moment. There's this studious-looking guy who can. And I think there's also one other guy who's younger than the others. And has, I think he has green hair and is kind of nerdy as well. I think he's like kind of like the class, like the Ida of this class, you know, like Tenya Ida from My Hero. It's a small class though. And this implies that, you know, Oni students aren't easy to find for this military academy. Which I find it funny that this is on the island of Onigashima, because like Onigashima is also used as an island name for One Piece, also Onigashima. It's just, come on, that's funny. Though you could also make the same joke with One Piece because Kaido and Yamato are part of the Oni race in that. So it's like I think it's just an intended joke. Um, but yeah, so we have the this military school, and our main character Shiki, I think, has agreed to be part of it. Has agreed to join in so he can get his revenge. And we get to see some of the utilizations of the blood powers with our teacher being able to like create this umbrella parasol kind of thing out of it. Um, and we find out a little bit about this berserker state that we saw in the first episode Shiki go into. And we learn more about how it needs to be able to be controlled. But our teacher also seems very tough. And now he's claiming that anybody who doesn't pass will just get instantly disqualified for this initial test that they're about to do. And I mentioned last time, it reminded me of Aizawa from My Hero, in where he used the, I believe, as he put it, logical deception to tell everybody that the people who failed would get would get expelled, but then it was just a lie in the end, just to get them motivated. And it kind of reminds me of that, but I don't know if it's going to be so much a lie. He seems a lot like more serious than Aizawa, and Aizawa seemed pretty serious at first, but I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how it goes. I don't think any of them are going to get disqualified though, because I think all of them are in the opening, right? Um, the blonde girl definitely is, and I know she comes back in the future because I know she's a character beyond what we've seen. The pink-haired girl is definitely in the opening. Beyond that, with the others, I'm not 100%, but I think they are. Either way, this is definitely like got my attention, and I really hope to continue to enjoy this. So let's check out episode 3 and see what we have in store. Hold up just a sec. Before you click that link down in the description below to get to today's video, I want to remind you of all the awesome content we have both on this channel and the Princess of Gaming channel. Let's check it out. And we are back, and we'll begin with spoilers in 3, 2, 1, now. Yeah, like, I can see, like, people comparing this to something like, the forest section early on in Naruto and everything with, Anko and whatnot. I can absolutely see comparisons like that. And there's other anime that have done this kind of thing too. But just because it's not entirely original doesn't mean it's bad. This was great. This was a good start. I like that not every team went in at once. I like that it is one team at a time. Because this is going to allow us to see, like, with the next episodes, what these other teams can do, presumably. Unless they decide to wait and not tell us that yet. Oh, excuse me. But we get to see right off the bat with this training that our teacher is doing this because he wants to make sure that they can be strong. Because this is a world that is clearly, you know, siding against the Oni. We learn that, like, so many are taken in even as children and, like, killed or experimented on, and it's horrific. And so they're trying to, like, hope for a more fair situation in the future. and literally have to train to fight for it. But something like that would be very difficult to fight for, and so they need to make sure that these students are strong enough to be able to handle that. I don't think he actually would. I don't think he's actually planning on necessarily failing any of them as long as they prove that they're strong. I don't think he plans to actually expel anyone here. I think it is a logical deception. He just wants to make sure that they're strong enough to handle this. And he sent these three in specifically to kind of showcase that in a way. Because we have Homare, whose power is exceptional. She has the ability to form this giant visage of her, I assume, dead sister. And this is clearly due to unresolved trauma on her, and that has also caused her to be really fucked up emotionally. She's extremely, like, terrified around people. Like, to the point of, like, even when she tried talking to Jin, I believe his name is, and he didn't respond, she got, like, super apologetic to the point of saying, like, even, like, how could someone as low as me even try to talk to you? And it's like, she sees herself as nothing, as someone not worthy of love and attention, someone not worthy of respect or even being spoken to. But Shiki doesn't give a shit about that kind of stuff. And so, like, he's calling her cute and telling her he'll protect her. And she's very clearly uncomfortable with that. But not because it's like, oh, it's like this is weird or anything. She's uncomfortable because she doesn't believe she deserves it, which is extremely tragic and sad. And we don't even know the entire reasonings behind it. I do tend to, and I'll just be completely honest here, I do tend to gravitate towards characters like this. I've used the term in a lot of things I've reacted to, especially Symphogear. I've used the term trauma babies to refer to characters who kind of fall under this trope. Characters who are excessively traumatized to the point that it affects their lives, their personalities, their characters, their actions, etc. And characters who are also, very cutesy tend to, I tend to gravitate towards as well. So it's like, Homare has made, like, a positive first impression on me in that regard. But also, it's like, it's mostly just feeling bad for her. It's like, it's kind of like this protective thing. It's like this weirdly protective desire to just want her to be safe and happy and, cared for. Whenever it comes to a character like this who is so aggressively self-loathing, it's like I just want the best for them. I want them to be able to smile, to be able to find happiness and, support and love. Because I've been there. I've talked about plenty of times that I have had a lot of self-hatred in my life. That a lot of times I have viewed myself as lesser than everyone around me. And it even led to multiple suicide attempts in my past. And I'm a lot better than I used to be in regards to this kind of stuff. I definitely have a lot more self-worth than I used to, but it's still something I can connect to and still something I do feel from time to time. And it can manifest in a lot of different ways for a lot of different reasons. But, like, seeing characters who are going through this same kind of thing, especially to such a heavy degree, and especially because it's very clearly, like, motivated by unresolved trauma related to, again, what we can presume based on the information given, a family death. It's like, that's just so excessively tragic that I feel very, very upset, like on behalf of the character. And so that definitely hooks me into this episode. We also get a tiny hint that Jin has definitely some kind of backstory as well. I mean, I'm sure they all do, but Jin has something going on to where he's trying to find someone. And his goal coming into this, after he learned the rules and everything, was to kill the teacher because he was told, oh, you do that, you get instantly accepted. You can choose your core, whatever whatever core of the Oni you want to join, you're good. And he's like, that's perfect. I can find who I'm looking for. And it's like, okay, so we have a goal and a motivation for you. And he also puts down Shiki's goal of avenging his father. Meaning that Jin probably has some daddy issues. Maybe his father is a bad guy. Maybe his father is one of the Momotaro. I mean, technically speaking, Shiki's used to be. His was too. Mind you, he was a defector, but still. If Jin's father could be part of that too, maybe he's the one who he's trying to find. And being part of any group would allow him the better opportunity to be able to find him, to be able to kill him. Maybe that's his goal, and that would put him directly at odds with Shiki's goal. So that would make sense with that. Of course, we don't know this for sure. This is just based off the tiny little bit we got here. But obviously, the big point of this episode is the Blood Eclipse release. We finally get a name for this ability to summon these objects out of blood. To utilize your blood to summon and create objects. Whether it's the parasol that our teacher used, whether it's the guns that we've seen Shiki use, the blades, the buzzsaws and whatnot that Jin uses, or even the manifestation of Homeray's sister. These are all their Blood Eclipse releases. They're created from the mind. The brain sends these messages to the body and to the blood to be able to create these based off basically the person's personality and interests and whatnot. Things like that. And so we see that explains a lot about what's going on with Homeray, because of how fucked up she is. And we don't really get a huge explanation for Jin's blades, but it's definitely maybe he just likes blades. I don't know. But we see that figuring this out is what truly allows Shiki to be able to summon the guns. And we see it succeeds. He figures out exactly what it is, what it brings this up, and he just realizes from studying the others. Because he obviously doesn't know the teachers. Well, I mean, I'm sure he knows the teacher's watching them, but he hasn't heard what the teacher's been thinking about and all. So he's figured this out on his own, just from observing the others around him, and was able to utilize it in full effect to create this gun, which basically just explodes the shit out of Homeray's Blood Eclipse release. Her, again, the manifestation of her sister. And so that's really fascinating. Now, we also have to acknowledge that while both Jin and now obviously Shiki have control over their BERs, I guess is a good way to cut it back a little bit so we don't have to say Blood Eclipse release every time. While they have control over them because they're, weapons, Homeray's, due to her trauma and everything, is a manifestation of her sister. It's a being. It's a person in a way. And it seems like because of that, she's unable to control her. She created it, and the manifestation will protect her. But she cannot control her. She cannot get her to stop. She cannot get her, like, to do what she wants her to do. And I don't know if that will be resolved with, further training, or if she just needs to have more self-confidence, or if she does need to resolve this trauma. I don't know what exactly would help with this, because this is obviously very different than controlling a weapon. A weapon like a gun or a saw blade or something like that, it's just like you just need to know how it works, basically, and need to know how to utilize that. But with something like this, again, it's practically a living being. She is creating life with her BER, which is insane. And it definitely shows why she's here. Because while, like, pretty much everyone else here has a lot of self-confidence and either is already skilled or has, like, the abilities present to be able to, fight on the front lines in this war against the Momotaro, with her personality and character and everything we've seen so far, it's almost confusing how someone like her could be here, who could have even got accepted into the academy. But then we see her power, and it's like, oh, that's exactly it. Her power is so aggressively strong, and it uses up so much blood that it's, like, legitimately causing her to, like, practically pass out and have, like, physical issues from it. It's like it practically forces anemia on her. But it also uses up more blood than she should be able to utilize. Jin makes a note that Oni tend to have more blood than humans on average. But the amount of blood she has to utilize to create this giant visage of her sister is much, much more than she should be able to utilize. So she's just special. Which is really interesting in and of itself, because usually in a lot of these anime, it's the main character who's the one who's, like, really special in terms of ability, has, like, some kind of secret, like, powerful ability that they have and whatnot. You see this in a lot of anime. But here, no, it's one of the side characters. Homare is the one who has the special, like, inborn ability, while Shiki's actually, like, below average. At least for now. Now, things could change, and he could have, like, some kind of secret to him that ends up, making him a lot stronger later on. But that is kind of an interesting flip of the script right now. So I'm very curious to see how this is going to end now that they've, seemingly at least, defeated the sister. And we still have to wonder, like, is the teacher actually going to expel all three of them? Or, well, not all three of them, but the one who doesn't find the ball in this case. Because there's 2 balls and there's 3 of them, so naturally one would get expelled. But I don't think that's going to happen, right? I don't think any of our crew here are going to get expelled. I think it was a logical deception. So we'll just have to see. But this was a really good episode that really set the bar, really set the mood, and introduced us more to what these BERs can do. I probably will not remember these names by next week. I will probably not even remember Blood Eclipse Release, or even the acronym BER, but we'll see. I'll try. In the meantime, tell me in the comments below what you thought of this episode, and thank you, as always, so much for tuning in. For now, I'm Connie, and I'm signing off. See y'all next time.